Okay.
Anil, will you share the recording after that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, please. So because I will send it to my Linsto team, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. You
Okay.
can do that.
Okay, so this is the document link which we had been referring with respect to our architecture and the interfaces. To set the context, I am just continuing from here, wherein we have the architecture diagram of Kahu, and we have placed some of the we have a provider framework, and we have placed some of the providers beneath that. So this is a third-party providers, which is where any of the third-party providers we can imagine. And along with that, Kahu will build some providers which can be readily usable. So now this is the interfacing we are going to discuss, that we have a provider framework and we have the set of interfaces. And when we talk about interfaces here, so at the moment for our backup restore feature, we have categorized into two parts. Probably based on the feedback and other use cases, we might change, but currently we have two set of interfaces. One is for the providers who support the metadata backup. That means who helps to back up the resource part of it. And another one is actually the volume backup part, who will be responsible for taking the volume backups. So currently we have categorized provider into two categories, and same way the interfaces are also has been categorized. And so we have a storage provider framework which exposes these interfaces. Now coming back to, we followed very similar to CSI way of pattern, where we have several services. So actually this is a proto file, so I'm not sure whether any other thing is better to show apart from this. So is it visible clearly?
Yes, it is.
Okay. First, let me introduce what we have. So we have three set of interfaces: identity. Hello?
So, Sushant, maybe you can zoom a bit.
Yes. Okay.
Is it possible?
Okay now? Is it okay now?
Or because on the right hand side, yeah, I think it's okay.
Yeah. So first set is about identity. So this is very similar to the identity for the CSI driver, wherein we provide some interfaces to get some information from the provider, and then followed by its capabilities. And so first, these two interfaces are related to capturing some interfaces and capabilities from the provider. And third interface is for probing, for the health check of the providers. So this is first set of interface, which is generic or the common to any kind of a provider, be it a metadata or be it is a volume provider. So this will be there. So this is pretty straightforward one, very similar to, any identity based registration. So next we have is for metadata backup. So when we tell metadata, probably it can be S3 or NFS or any other store where we can keep resource related data from Kubernetes. So we have upload, download, delete functions, and also we have interface to check whether a particular object exists in the store. So internally, this may be using this, the specific protocols for taking the backup to the store. So am I audible, right?
Yes.
Okay. So
I can hear you.
Yeah. So these are the first two sets. So if we are implementing a metadata provider, we will be implementing these two set of interfaces in our driver, in our provider. And some like capabilities, we have written description below when it comes to field, what each of these requests contain. So these are the things.
We don't have a Swagger file, is it?
No, no, Sanil, right now. So we will make some better readable thing for this. So currently we have this, so we will find a way where it will be easily, explorable or understandable. for this content. Okay, so I was going through services. So let me first cover all kind of services we have. So metadata we covered. And for the volume, we identified currently the set of interfaces that whether we these are interface which based on the provider capability, it can be implemented, like whether a particular PV is owned by him. So the reason why we want to know is when we are following a group-based backup. So if we come to know like these PVs belong to particular guy, probably we can hand over all this group of volumes to him for his efficient way of backing up. Otherwise, probably even if he's having the capability to back up in a bulk, we may not be utilizing that capability. So we have a interface to tell like whether a particular PV is owned by a provider, so that we will be able to group them together. And second one will be about the creating the backup. So we start a backup and we have a backup request and response. And this is for the volume. And another one is for the deleting of backup. So deleting the volume backup from the backend. And also we have identified this is not very, I mean, we are not very sure about all the use cases of this. So we have identified some interface to cancel the backup, considering like if backup is taking a long time or due to some issue in the backend, so backup is not getting completed. Probably we should have a way to cancel that backup and come to normalcy. And also the next one is about getting the backup statistics. That means whenever a backup is going on, probably we can get how much backup is finished based on the capability of the provider. So we can get some statistic info like how much part of the volume backup is finished and what's the progress. And the progress field can be, I mean, extended. And next one is about the restoring. Restoring is like how do we get back the volume from the backup. And these interfaces we added, probably we are add volume attributes. So our idea of volume backup was to ask provider to create a volume from the backup and give back to us. Then we will be taking the responsibility of creating the volume related attributes at the Kubernetes side. So in that case, probably we will be asking provider back to add some volume source attributes in the volume created by him, so that the information in the volume will be complete. And similarly, we have interface to cancel the restore. During the restore process, user can decide to cancel the restore process, and things are expected to clean up from the backend. And the restore stats during the restore process. So these are actually some of the basic or the first set of interfaces. Probably this is not the exhaustive list. So these are the interfaces we have identified in the first step for volume, metadata, and for the identity service. Any doubt as of now or any suggestion, feedback?
So Sushant, for a provider to start working, this set either service and metadata or all of that, right?
Yeah, actually one is common.
The identity part.
Yes. Identity part is common. It is just providing some info. And the second part is based on what provider we develop.
Okay.
So either metadata or volume. And most probably we will be focusing on volume backup, because for metadata, currently we are writing NFS provider, so that it will help us to, Kahu itself will provide this metadata provider. So that we can readily use, configure some NFS server. The NFS server also configuration can be, we can use container based NFS server in our cluster itself, or any NFS server which is hosted outside. So I think that part is probably we can take a support to write other flavors like S3 and all. Otherwise, mostly our focus will be on bringing in new providers with the volume backup service.
Okay. So currently with NFS, with volume and metadata we tested, right?
With NFS, volume metadata is tested. We wrote some provider and we are testing it still. So we have put we have also checked in whatever we have tested. So NFS is okay with respect to metadata backup and restore currently.
Okay. So next we will test volume.
Yeah, volume we need some providers. That is what we are looking into.
Mm-hmm.
So that is where some of the open source providers comes in. It will be easy for us to test.
So NFS cannot be used. NFS provider.
NFS provider. So this volume backup, when we tell, right, it needs the capability of taking the backup of the volume from the PV information. It's in case of NFS provider, what we are doing is we are giving some file information or the tar files and all, and asking him to backup. Okay. So, but in case of a volume, it is about finding the volume. Actually, it is working on the actual data, right?
Right.
I mean, the volume is at backend. Volume is at backend with some whoever has provisioned it, with them it is there.
No, you mean this is something like a volume backup by the hardware?
Yes, because this volume is physically existing with some of the provisioner, right? Because one of the provisioner has provisioned this and
Right.
given to the Kubernetes, right? Through CSI way or some other way, it is consumed by Kubernetes. But the volume is physically existing with one of the backend, right? So anybody who want to take the backup should be contacting that particular, endpoint, right? So normally all these providers, because they are the provisioners, so their providers will be able to take the backup in whatever way they follow, and they will be helping to keep this backup. I think Yusuf can probably this mechanism. This is what the mechanism we have seen. I'm not sure whether anybody can some other way where people can take the volume provided by someone else. So that is probably the thing which we will be thinking to add. Sunny, you got my question?
Yeah, I got your point.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking that say for example, if the provisioning is done in CSI, and CSI also support a snapshot.
Yes.
So
but still the CSI snapshot will be still at the provider side, right? Some
correct,
metadata
correct.
information only is with the the Kubernetes side. How to
That's
track
right.
some
No, I'm
ID.
just thinking that this interface is outside CSI, correct?
Yes.
So I'm just trying to differentiate. Because if you take a CSI snapshot,
yes,
and take a backup of it, you get the volume, right? PV.
yeah, because CSI restore only we'll use. Okay, if you take a CSI snapshot, that means some metadata is with the Kubernetes, but the actual volume is with the provisioner. Then you ask to take the restore, then CSI will give back those historic information. It will again go back to the provisioner and he will create a volume and give you. So all the time this is with him only. It is not outside the provisioner. He has
Correct.
kept the
So
snapshot and
I'm
he has given back you
so
the volume.
in our context, I just wanted to see the use case where it is differentiated, because in Kubernetes most of the providers will be a CSI driver.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
So
So what are the other cases where this volume backup has an advantage, or maybe some specific use cases CSI cannot do and this volume backup can do?
no,
I don't know whether
actually
I'm putting the question.
yes. One of the thing can be like, most of the provisioners and all, right? They have this grouping capability. Then some other capabilities, like if you have to bring in incremental, all this, non-vanilla based backup restore things, right? So grouping is one I can think of, because
So that is, see, basically this will be advantageous when you do some features or use cases beyond just 1 PB?
Yeah,
Is it?
that is one obvious use case.
Okay.
Okay, unless CSI also thinks of that and I mean comes up and with the mature way of doing it through CSI. So that difference is there. Even the other flavors of backup restore features, right? They are also trying to focus on that. Because most of the storages, as far as what we explored, most of the storages have this kind of capability. They can efficiently handle multiple things, group multiple things instead of one by one and all, right? So there is a definitely there's advantage in doing that way.
Okay.
And others also, any storage specific thing, right? For example, you need to have some special processing before you take a backup, or you need some preparation kind of step and all, right? That can be added here because CSI may not allow you to do such things. So we can have some new interfaces which storage provider needs for the efficient backup restore capability.
Okay.
So that is the, I mean, aspect where it can be different. I mean, based on the interface we identify and add, the features will be different. So that is what even the help we need about the use cases, like what are, I mean, some uncommon or not usually discussed use cases.
Okay. I think we need to clearly differentiate, otherwise this can be a common question, right?
Yes. I think we need to make a list of things or the use cases, common or uncommon, already handled or not handled through CSI and the other means. So this kind of classification.
Okay. Anyway, I think Linstore meeting will be very useful for us, I think, because they have already tried Velero. They already have these kind of backup solutions.
And we expect maybe some new set of interface required
Right.
for some features.
Yeah. And they will already have some pain points also.
I think the Velero, I think one of our engineers also preparing a blog post about Velero backup with Linstore and everything.
Oh, great.
Oh, okay.
I don't know when, but it will be live, I think, in a month, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, got it.
And Sushant, our interfaces on the backup, especially on metadata and volume, how different these interfaces from Velero?
I mean, some parameters, features, and all. I mean, see, if you general, because we started with the basic set of implementations, right? So some interfaces will be obviously we need like backup, restore, all those things. Some, I mean, these are the things which are very much required to realize any feature.
I'm not asking about the parameters aspect. I'm just asking about the protocol part, interface part. Is it Velero also? Ours is gRPC, right?
Oh, okay. You mean that?
The
Yes.
protocol.
Yes. Yeah. Ours is the gRPC.
Velero also.
Veleros, see, there are two things here. Okay, one is multiple providers at a time. Okay, I mean we can have different volume providers actively running at a time, and we can dynamically plug in at any point of time provider. Okay, so these are the two things we support.
Velero doesn't support this, is it?
Velero has multiple things, but as far as I know, theirs is you can plug in one whichever you want. I mean, you can start up with, yes. And but they support multiple, but not at the same time or not runtime. See, in our case, you to a running system, you can add a new provider just like a CSI. So we followed CSI way so that this multiple things at a time and the dynamic register or this will be taken care. So this is different in our case. So we can support both of these.
Okay, but the interface protocol is the same. So
yes, gRPC.
My question is that if somebody has already tried Velero, should not find it hard hard to use us, right?
I think yes.
Yes and no. Is it yes and no or yes?
We need to just see the last mile thing. I mean, we don't know how exactly they do at later point of time, because this
Okay.
also used to be one of the
I
problem.
think we should have our use case and interface some kind of compare contrast with the Velero when we prepare the user guide and other information for the user. It will help
Yes.
because
That whatever you told, right? For example, now Linstore has tried, right? Probably without much effort, they can integrate with another one if we are compatible. That is the point you are trying to say, right?
yep. Yes.
Okay, I just noted down that. One is about the key use cases and the way it is done.
And also we need to differentiate. I mean, we start differentiating. I think we discussed in the design phase also that how our solution is differentiating with the CSI or any other solutions like Velero. I mean, advantage or disadvantage or capabilities. Because that may be some usual questions, right? When you say that.
Yes. Okay, I took that.
Yusuf, you have any questions to Sushant?
No, unfortunately, no. But I believe Gabor will have many. So
Yeah.
Sure.
And we want to see some entirely different set of interfaces for different use case, probably which we are not able to come up currently. So I think that will be very useful.
I think I will also include the developer that developed the backup feature.
Yes. I think yes, correct.
That will be much more helpful, I think.
Yes. Because we are adding interfaces now, so probably it will not be any issue to rectify or I mean add a new. So we can decide and we can have those features included.
And by
easily.
the way, Sanil, I hope you are well now about the illness. When do we have a call for Linstore and Kahu?
Yeah, Sushant, how are we placed this week? I think this week we have this release, right?
Yeah, we are adding this provider controller code and all open source. I think next week, any day, we can find out.
Okay.
Yeah, Yusuf, you are available next week?
I am. I
Okay.
know Gabor also available, but I'm not sure about the other developer, Johannes.
I think we are okay. So, right, Sanil, next week.
So Sushant, maybe can we have same time, maybe Tuesday night or something, right?
Yeah. Like last time Yusuf sent. I think that timing is correct.
I think
both
Yusuf,
of
the
us, I guess.
same time next week, same day we can do.
Okay, then I will check with our developers and then get back to you.
Sure. Same time is okay. Whatever you said.
Okay, good.
Hey, thanks.
Yes, Anil, I think I will share this whatever we have discussed these files as well. Okay.
I think both the links you can share me, so I'll just put it in the
You
notes.
add in. Okay.
And this is publicly accessible, right? You can put it in the drive.
Yeah, I will add it because we just downloaded, built the proto files and all using Protogen. So just will upload that.
Okay, and share me the link so that I'll update.
Sure. Okay.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, Keshav, we can.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm sorry, I'm in office, but I mean this Zoom. There is a firewall issue. It is not allowing. So I logged in. I logged in via my phone, but however, I have made the setup on the phone also. I can show it up.
Okay.
Not an issue. Give me a second. Am I sharing the screen? You guys are able to see?
Yes.
I'm sharing it via
Yeah,
my phone.
the share screen, the startup screen, I can see. You are sharing screen.
Cool. Yeah, okay. Screen is shared. Awesome. Thank you. Give me a second. Okay, so this is where actually okay, basically SBK most of the components are written in Java.
Okay.
And the other side it is Python.
Other side in the sense?
And Delphin side.
Yeah, Delphin side is Python, correct.
Delphin is Python. But however, the Delphin actually takes the remote the REST APIs, right?
Correct.
Okay, so the best possible thing which I was thinking was you can actually implement a logger in SBK, which actually takes the SBK results, all the SBK results, and put it to the put that into the Delphin via REST APIs. That one implementation is possible.
Okay.
So that could be the Java code. For example, the one which I'm showing is all you have to do is you have to implement this logger one. Okay. So internally you can handle this particular one. Internally you can actually handle this is actually an input to SBK. Whenever we call the SBK, so this actually goes as an input to SBK. So this fetches, this actually gets all the results through SBK code. And there are already examples which are already, which I have already written in. So one is the system logger, directly just print it onto the console. Okay, if you're seeing this code particularly, so what actually that we do is we actually print everything onto the console, whatever the results that we do get. Okay, so this is the code. And here you can actually add additional logs also. For example, if I see the Prometheus logger, it actually extends the system logger. So in the Prometheus logger, actually you can input. So whether you wanted to have a Prometheus logger enabled or disabled. If it is disabled and where you want to put the context. So natural HTTP context is 9718 is by default in SBK. If you want to change the port and other things, it is possible by changing the additional parameters. So you can just add the params and you can parse them. What is actually, so based on that port, so it will actually enable the HTTP server within the SBK. So similarly, this is something like this anyway Java doesn't give any multiple inheritance. So it is a unilateral one-way interface. The one first interface was developed on which is system logger, which just prints the data, all the results onto the console. And if you want to have it in a CSV file, so now the CSV logger actually extends the system logger. And on top of it, if you want to have the Prometheus, okay, you can actually take extend the Prometheus logger. The system logger, and then the Prometheus logger, and then the CSV logger. All the results actually, whatever that we collect, we actually put that into one central server, which what we call it as SBK RAM. Okay, there could be multiple instances of SBK that you can run in any of the nodes, and those results can be collected to the single server. That actually SBK RAM is actually the gRPC server. For that, you have to write a gRPC client. So this gRPC Prometheus logger is actually one gRPC client. So for every whenever the results gets printed, so whenever the latency gets recorded, whenever the results gets printed, I will make sure that it is sent to the SBK RAM. So during the initial phase, I'll make sure that it will have a valid connection to the SBK RAM. So this one interface can be extended so that it can send the result to the Delphin server. I hope I just made an abstract made sense. Hello.
Yeah, Keshav. Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, I'm just thinking first whether our positioning is it makes sense, right? In the sense, say if you take Delphin
Mm-hmm.
from northbound, I think any client, a client in the sense any management client basically,
Yeah.
management
Correct.
client can work with the Delphin to get the monitoring data. I mean, this is a
Correct.
premise where Delphin works, and south of Delphin will be all the storages. Now, if you come to SBK, SBK is also something similar, right? You can have a dashboard on top, and then the
Yes.
client can ask the benchmarking data from SBK,
Correct.
and the south side is the storage.
Correct.
So now I'm just thinking, will it make sense if we keep SBK and Delphin one below the other, or it should be parallel? I'm just slightly confused. I'm just thinking.
Yeah, correct. The one thing is actually, the very first proposal which I had was maybe requires a lot of other code changes where um, make sure that the Delphin actually invokes SBK APIs directly. Okay, that is one thing.
For benchmarking.
Yeah, for
Is it?
benchmarking. For benchmarking.
Okay.
If you don't want to do that, let's say, I mean, you just want to take the results directly from SBK, then whatever I explained now, you just have to implement one logger, and this can be executed along with SBK in any way. And the Delphin can be one single instance. It can actually collect the results from SBK. So Delphin, whatever I told now is to extend the Delphin, to enable the Delphin to collect the results from SBK. Okay. So if you want to, if you don't, that is kind of very loose coupling. The one that I think you are thinking is more or less at the API level integration, where the Delphin can directly invoke SBK APIs and get the results directly into the Delphin directly.
I'm actually okay. So maybe I'm not very sure whether it's right, but what I'm thinking is that, see, beyond Delphin and SBK, okay, what Delphin can provide capability is monitoring, heterogeneous monitoring, uh, alert resource and performance. Now,
Correct.
when you talk about SBK can provide an storage benchmarking, right?
Correct.
Now, my thinking is that irrespective of this uh, technical interfacing, can we give a solution where the storage, performance monitoring and benchmarking can be done?
Mm-hmm.
In the sense, if you want to do a storage benchmarking or storage monitoring in a heterogeneous storage, I mean, so when you talk about this kind of a solution, more or less what we are talking about heterogeneous storage is kind of a unified entity. In the sense, if this solution has got say NetApp or HP storages behind, what we are claiming is that this solution can provide you monitoring and benchmarking on whatever storage is below.
No, it actually the Delphin he actually collects the results and does the display. He doesn't prepare any payload and does the benchmarking, right? That's what I've seen.
It doesn't. No. So see, Delphin does not do any benchmarking as of now.
Correct.
It doesn't do any. It's just monitoring, right?
Correct. It
It
is only the
basically
monitor.
gets the correct.
So,
and we do some resource management as well.
Yeah, the monitoring
part, the one is the apart from performance benchmarking, the other monitoring was actually, I mean, in my, at least in
Alert
my
and resource.
experience, yeah, in my experience, it was like more or less on the number of logical drives and the free space left. It used to went on these parameters, measuring on these parameters, isn't it?
It's not limited because it depends on the storages. You
Correct.
can get all the resource information and you can configure for alerts.
Correct.
So that automatically you get all the alerts and then all the performance metrics.
Exactly. So now the performance
Now,
metrics anyway can be solved.
so the benchmarking, when you do benchmarking, so primarily you do benchmarking with a payload
Yes.
in different cycles, or I mean, with number of
Yes.
cycles, is it?
Yeah, you can actually give what is actually the maximum events or records that you wanted to conduct a benchmarking. Read or write, or it could be both. And then for that is one thing. You can have a max threshold of records that you wanted to do a write or read, or you can say the time in terms of seconds. Let's say I run it for 30 seconds. I run it for 30 minutes. Okay. So
Do you need a separate storage driver or the existing storage?
You, depending on the storage, you just have to add one small driver part of it. For example, for file systems, for any of the this noise is not from my side. I don't know. I think maybe others can go on mute.
Yeah,
Okay,
just
so okay, see, basically, this actually prepares the payload. It does the full complete benchmarking. It takes all the measurements, everything, percentile calculation for the latencies, throughput, and everything it does. Now the low level part, very low level part, which the IO operation, whether write or read, for that actually you have to write a small driver for particularly for your storage, and you know the APIs. Here there are already 40 around drivers which are already available with SBK. If at all anything different, maybe for lint storage, we may have to add a new driver for that. For let's say if you want to do anything on Hadoop or on these things, drivers are already available. Straight away it can be used. I remember Tero was using it on MinIO. So MinIO driver is already there. Object storage driver is already there, and that is already S3 compliant. If at all anything is missing, then all we need to add is very minimalist driver. For that, we actually give a interface, which is a storage interface, what we call it as a storage interface. That interface, maybe I can just show it over here. So that interface is pretty much simple. All you have to define is what is actually your storage. This is the interface. What are all the arguments that you accept, the command line arguments, and how do you parse them? You have to implement that. How do you open the storage? How do you close the storage? Create a writer, create a reader. So, and of course, there is a writer. You in the writer one and the reader one, you have to define. For example, in the writer, you have to define the write operation. How much? So, how you are going to write the data. For reader, you have to define the reader one. For the data type, if it is a byte array, you need not to do anything. If it is anything else, then you have to take, you have to implement what data type that you wanted to make it. But if it is a string and other things, already examples are already there. If a data type is a byte buffer, or if a data type is a string, there is already an example data type one, which you can straight away use. So this one storage interface, and the other one is the writer and reader. So writer is actually, this is the data. You have to write it to your storage device, write async. Okay, if it is asynchronous, return the completable feature. If it is synchronous, return null. Similarly for read also, pretty much simple, that you just read the data, read the particular data, return that data part itself, close the reader. That's all. These two APIs that you have to implement. So writing this is actually sufficient. I'm saying there is a command which comes with the SBK Gradle command, where SBK add driver -p driver is equal to name, whatever the name. If you give that, it will actually give a template driver for you. It will actually create a driver underscore whatever the name that you have provided. It actually gives the driver. And all you have to fill is only the read write operations. So it quickly to go there, very simple stuff where I can just show you. Give me a minute. Here it is. So if you see driver, all these things, it is already there. Moment if you give any driver that you want to, very simple command that once you clone it, simple command of adding the driver. Moment you add it, driver, let's say soda, if you want to. All you have to fill is only the read write APIs. How do you open the storage? How do you close the storage? So once those things are complete, rest other things, the complete compilation and then listing out the driver and all other things, that actually the SBK takes care of it. That's it. There is a comments which I have already added. You just have to take care of them. Don't throw illegal argument and all. You comment out that part, or you remove that part, and you add the options that you wanted to. How do you open the storage? How do you close it? Start filling up these driver part. That's it. This is one thing that where how do you add a very minimalist driver to SBK. And once you add it, upon make sure that your hardware is ready, or if it is a software defined storage, make sure that that is ready. Moment you run it, it will prepare a payload and start doing the read write operation. So that's it. But here yours is a bit advanced use case where actually you want to integrate SBK with Delphin. So general for that not just adding a driver is for supporting a new storage device. For in your case, for any storage device, you want the SBK results to be logged via Delphin. So for that, we can actually, you need to add a logger. That's quite, I mean, it's easy. I'm saying like moment any of you or any of your team members starts using it, they will be able to appreciate it, like just one extending the few classes in logger, that will definitely help.
So what you're telling is that you call this logger from Delphin, is it?
Yeah, that's it. You add a logger which actually takes the results and puts to the Delphin server, the REST APIs. Okay, and while starting Delphin, make sure that you start the SBK also.
Okay, I think we need to see how, I mean, it should make real sense also, right? Joseph? Hello?
Yes, Salil. Yeah, I also need to understand more about the use case.
Yeah, see, Joseph, basically what I'm just thinking is that Delphin can provide monitoring capability for heterogeneous storage, and SBK can provide benchmarking, right? I mean, this is the capability wise two projects.
Yes.
Now what I'm thinking is that can we provide some kind of a solution or to users that you can do a performance monitoring and benchmarking with our solution. Okay, our solution means Delphin plus SBK, Delphin and SBK. I mean, all these things are up to us. I mean, how we want to pack the solution, correct?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking. So what Keshav is trying to say is that from his perspective, one option is that even you trigger the benchmarking from Delphin and get the result. All these things can be done from that. I mean, for that, probably we need some changes and we need to do some changes to integrate in that way. This is one option he's trying to say. Second is that we can just read the results from SBK and export it through whatever we want. It's something like another performance data. It's like a benchmarking data coming out
Yes.
storage. And
Yes.
whatever exporters we support, all the exporters by default will support because it is going through Delphin.
Correct.
Even if you have a third-party client, the client can get the benchmarking data from the storages, something like that. So this is another way of looking at it. So maybe what we need to do is that we need to just place both SBK and Delphin and then see that how this can make sense. Because the second option, what Keshav is trying to say, I think it looks interesting in the sense Delphin can provide both benchmarking and performance data. I mean, it will look like that.
That's
but
what it is.
underlying benchmarking capability will come from SBK, and all
Correct.
the performance monitoring, alert, and all these things coming from the storage directly.
Yeah.
So it will look like that. Here, one small catch is that in Delphin also we have the storage drivers for the performance alert and all these things. So we need to slightly modify the existing driver to adapt these interfaces, and then because it is a unified interface, and benchmarking under SBK, there should be a different set of drivers. So for the same storage, the benchmarking driver will be different and the performance drivers will be different, correct? I mean, in this case.
Yeah, monitoring gets separated and the
benchmarking
gets, yeah.
Yeah. So, Joseph, maybe we can just consider this and see that this adds some value.
Right, yes.
If it adds value, then so one direct thing is that, I mean, all the exporters, whatever we support, right, can automatically provide this information, benchmarking also. But if it doesn't add any compelling kind of solution, probably we need to find a way Delphin and SBK can be, I mean, parallel to each other, and then you have an abstracted layer on top of it, kind of a visualization. We need to see which is better.
Right. Yeah, we need to see that.
Yeah. So maybe we can further discuss with Keshav and Joseph. Maybe you can just have a look at it, SBK and whatever shared right now.
I mean, it would be better if any of you guys gives kind of a miniature demo on how the monitoring and the performance and the results have been plotted using SBK. I mean, using Delphin. It would be better. Right now, I went through all the screenshots and other things. Based on that, with that my understanding, I'm proposing this. Maybe it will improve if I start seeing some running system.
I think Joseph, we already have it, right?
Yeah, we can do that. Yes.
Yeah. In that case, next maybe we can have a meeting separately, or if we are not able to do it in next 2 weeks, in the design meeting itself we'll do it. Otherwise, we can just plan one meeting to demo Delphin.
No issues. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And you can also demo the SBK.
Yeah.
Including the interfaces.
Yeah, including all the other interfaces.
Right. A bit deeper, I mean, technical. So it will be good.
Yeah, it can definitely go through like how a kind of a definitely. That's a demo on where exactly the driver comes in, where exactly we collect the results, and where exactly the results get spotted to Grafana.
Okay. And SBK can be run as a microservice, is it?
Yeah, the
Okay.
complete stuff is as a microservice.
Okay. Yeah. So it is already running in containers, is it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, the complete provisioning is there, but wherever I'd been, my day-to-day use case is on bare metal, so
Oh.
I don't use it, but it is there. The Docker and everything interfaces are already.
Okay.
I mean, once the driver gets added, and just another command actually creates the Docker file for that.
Oh, okay.
So I can show that also.
Okay.
I mean, the existing Docker hub is pretty much outdated. The reason being, they stopped supporting the free this one. I have to buy something to keep
Mm-hmm.
the latest SBK images. But however, I actually posted the updated documents. A simple commands actually builds the image.
Okay.
It is there. Maybe I can demo that on. I mean that also. But keep me at least the 40 for at least 40-45 minutes slot so that I can demo the containerized one and the regular the way that we run it.
Okay.
Not a pretty much. I mean there is no difference as such, but uh, just to show the variety of deployments.
Okay. So maybe either in the next design meeting or before, I mean, once Joseph is free from the current thing, then
Yep.
we can actually plan one dedicated meeting, just like what
Yeah,
we are planning
definitely.
for Linstore.
That would be great. Yeah.
Okay, that'll be great, and then we can explore. I think we can be open that, I mean, different options to see that whether we can provide a common solution. I mean, that's our goal.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Few things were actually piled up on my plate, so I thought of adding any of Linstore or any Cortex or something driver to SBK. Probably I'll add it. I just need some time.
Oh, okay. That will be good.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking of adding those drivers, so that I know. I mean, it will definitely help you guys to understand that. Okay, this is how it has been. I mean, otherwise, most of other things, if it is not in touch with these people, it's quite difficult. You have to study the complete other storage system. So, Linstore and other things, I know you guys are already aware of that. It is better.
Okay.
I'm in the verge of making that 1.0 ready. So, just give me some time. I'll add
Oh,
those
sure.
drivers.
So SBK, you are planning to do 1.0 release, is it?
1.0 probably this month or worst case coming month beginning. I'll because I'm just thinking through so that post 1.0 I don't want to change any of the APIs.
Oh, okay.
And I want to standardize the API. So that's why I'm still the testing is going on a lot of other things. And I'm just thinking of like, is there any new possibility of storage company? Did I cover all the varieties? So I'm just going through that. Probably it should be possible that I should close this to by this month end. By this month end I should be able to make the release.
Okay.
So
Yeah, thanks.
post that anyway. I'm thinking of Cortex and Linstore. In fact, I tried with some of the students also. I mean, it was not successful.
Oh, okay.
And
For
they
a
could
fresh
not
trial.
able to understand. Yeah, they could not. So it's taking a bit more time.
Okay. Okay, Keshav. Thanks a lot. I think
Yeah.
we can plan one meeting,
Yeah,
specific
please.
topic.
Yeah, you just show me ones on the Delphin side. Any
Yes.
particular with any of these storage that you guys are do that with day to day. I mean, day to day testing with the Delphin.
Sure.
That would be better. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think we are 2 minutes over the time.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, thanks. I think it was just a quick notice for you. Yeah, you could manage.
No, it's okay. Next time I'll make a better arrangement. So I already requested so that I can bring my laptop here.
Sure.
If that comes, then I should be able to make a proper demo.
Okay. Hey, thank you so much. Thanks everyone, and
Yeah.
we'll meet after 2 weeks. Yeah, thank you so much.
Sure, definitely. Yeah, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye bye.